attitude and political attitude. Moral attitude and political attitude. What is the moral attitude? What is the political attitude? Basically, this is a topic that is given in your syllabus, the moral attitude and the political attitude. So if you look at, this is the topic of the discussion, moral attitude and the political attitude. What is a moral attitude? What is morality? What is morality? It is something that helps, it is the field that helps us know what is a right action, what is a wrong action, right? It helps us know what is a right action and what is a wrong action. It difference between ethics. Do you remember the difference between ethics, morality and values? So values, these are basically the preferences held by an individual. Okay, this is morality, helps us understand what is right or wrong on the basis of the individual values, on the basis of the individual values. Whereas ethics helps us know with what is right or wrong on the basis of a certain established standards, on the basis of certain established standards, right? So what is morality? Is knowing the right or wrong on the basis of individual values, on the basis of the what I believe to be correct or incorrect. So here, what is a moral attitude? Moral attitude is basically any attitude that is related to the conviction of right or wrong. So according to me, what is right, according to me, what is wrong, and the attitude that gets reflected, and the attitude that is related to the conviction of right or wrong is called as the moral attitude. So the attitude that reflects the right or wrong conviction is called as is related to right or wrong conviction is called as your moral attitude, right? So if you believe that dishonesty is bad, you will have a disliking, you will have a tendency to dislike a liar. So it is your moral attitude. It is based on the basis of what you believe to be right or wrong. Okay, so if you believe in charity, if you believe in the values of charity, you will have a moral attitude. You will have a moral attitude, that is, you will have a respect towards philanthropists, respect towards the philanthropists. Okay, so any attitude that is related to your moral conviction, any attitude that tells about your belief or right or wrong is called as the moral attitude. What are the types of moral attitude? You have a faithfulness. If you believe in loyalty, you will have a faithful attitude. If you believe in responsibility, you will be aware of your responsibilities. Okay, if you believe in goodness, you will have an attitude that you will respect good people. So this is your moral attitude. Any attitude that is related to the moral conviction, that is related to your conviction of right or wrong, is called as the moral attitude. Moral attitude. And here, if I look at in 2021, the highest philanthropist was your Tata Sons and the group, group. So what is the attitude that you have towards the Tata group? If you believe in charity, you will have respect towards that group. So that becomes your moral attitude, a tendency to respect something which you believe in. So this is your moral attitude. This is the moral attitude. What is a political attitude? What is political attitude? Political attitude means that attitude towards any political objects, be it parliament, be it political parties, your attitude towards voting, should we vote or not, your attitude towards the Election Commission of India, your attitude towards the politicians, your attitude towards the political leaders, your attitude towards the political workers. So any object, any political object, whatever you have an attitude towards any political object, it is called as the political attitude. So your attitude towards the political object, any political object, is called as a political attitude. It can be attitude towards politician, it can be an attitude towards policy, law, a political worker, You can have an attitude towards election. You can have an attitude towards Election Commission of India. So any political object and your attitude towards any political object is called as the political attitude. The best place where the political attitudes get reflected is in your parliament. In your parliament, there are multiple of the parliamentarians where a varied type of political attitude gets reflected. Or what has been the political attitude, what has been attitude towards the salt march is an example of the political attitude. Or what is the attitude towards election is a political attitude. What is an attitude towards the farmers protest? So attitude towards any political issue, towards any political object is called as the political attitude. This is called as the political attitude. If we write an examples of a positive political attitude, examples of positive political attitude, you can write an example of India is a secular. What is your attitude? What is plural? Okay, if you have these attitudes, secular, plural, you have a liberal attitude, you have the attitude of you believe in free and fair elections, you believe in free and fair election. This is the example of positive political attitude. You have the positive political attitude. What is a negative political attitude? The negative political attitude, if you believe in regionalism, if you have stereotypes, if there is hostile attitude, if there is a violent attitude. So hostile attitude, violent attitude, we have the stereotypes, we have regionalism. These are the example of the negative political attitude. These are the example of the negative political attitude. Subnationalism is an example of the negative political attitude. Subnationalism. Example of the positive political attitude, you can have, if there is preference for the secular politics, free and fair election, there is protest against discriminatory policies, protest against the discriminatory policies, protest against the non-inclusive law, they are considered as the your positive political attitude. Did you understand the difference between moral attitude and the political attitude? What is a moral attitude? An attitude that reflects the moral convictions, an attitude that reflects the right and wrong. So your view towards charity, your view towards philanthropist, your view towards goodness in other person, your view towards your outlook towards the help that the other person offers. That tells us about your moral attitude. And political attitude is that something that tells us about your viewpoints about the political objects, about the political objects. What are the factors that influence the political attitude? We all have political attitude. We have an attitude towards election. We have an attitude towards Election Commission of India, towards Parliament, towards the voting rights, towards law. We all have an opinion. What are the factors that has affected the that affect your political attitude? So your political attitude is formed because of many policies. So what are the factors that influence the political attitude? Give a heading, factors influencing the political attitude. First, religion. Religion influences the political attitude. What is your religious philosophy? Religion, and in India, your caste also. In India, the caste also influences the political attitude. There is one famous quote which says, in India, people do not cast their vote. Do not cast their vote, but they vote their caste. They vote their caste. They vote their caste. So tendencies, your factors like religion, your factors like caste determines your political attitude. You have inherent liking towards the one political party or the other. So one that influences is the religion. The uniform civil code. An example can be your uniform civil code. there has been no passage of the Uniform Civil Code, because we have such a protection towards our religion and religious practices. We want to protect our religious practices. So we could not. So this is an example that how do religious practice affects your political attitude. How does your religious practices, how does your religious thinking affect your way of looking at a law? So the law outlook towards law is very different for different religious communities. So that is your Uniform Civil Code. The second can be historical factors that influences the political attitude. The historical factors. The historical factors like we all respect our national anthem. We respect our national flag. We respect the emblem, because our historical influences shape the respect towards political symbols, like national flag, like national anthem, like emblem, our respect towards preamble. Okay, so historical factors also affects our political attitude. Then we have the tradition and culture. You can see that there is more autonomy given to sixth schedule in the polity in your constitution. In the constitution, there is more autonomy given to the sixth schedule. The reason more autonomy has been given to the sixth schedule and the areas of sixth schedule is because they have an outlook towards policies, law, and the outlook is shaped by their culture. So your culture also shapes the political attitude. Your tradition also shapes the political attitude. So autonomy given to recognize that tradition shapes outlook towards politics. Tradition shapes political attitude. So your political attitude is shaped by the religion, is shaped by tradition, is shaped by customs, is shaped by your historical reasons. That's what it is. Your philosophers also shapes the political attitude. The philosophers, history has been full of the examples where the philosophers have led, various philosophers have shaped the political attitude. In French Revolution, you had philosophers like Voltaire, Rousseau. We had American Revolution. Now you have studied world history also. 1789, 1789, 1789, 78 and 9, 178 and 9. French Revolution. It was the philosophers like Voltaire, Rousseau affected the political attitude prevalent in that time. We had American Revolution. Okay, the American Revolution, and there were philosophers who shaped the American Revolution. So in culture, I had written example of Schedule 6. In historical, I said about Salt March. I said about the national struggle has shaped our respect towards national flag, towards a national anthem, towards your song, national song, towards emblem, right? So that's what these are the factors which influences your political attitude.